Welcome to I Wrote That, a podcast for entrepreneurs who are navigating the crazy world of authorship. Whether you're just starting out or already established, we want to help you navigate the publishing world with confidence. My name is Larissa, and this channel is brought to you by Next Page Publishing. With the help of our industry partners, we bring you the insights on the most challenging yet most rewarding parts of being an authorpreneur, along with the actionable tips to help you move your brand and your business forward. Don't forget to download your free copy of our book, Author Your Way to Your Next 100K, by visiting nextpagepublishing.net/author-your-way. Let's meet our next guest. Welcome back to another episode of I Wrote That. My name is Larissa, and I am your CEO of Next Page Publishing and the host for today's episode. And I'm so excited to have our guest, Elizabeth Watson, who is my coach and has been my longtime friend and my co-author and one of my clients. And it's just so wonderful when we can full circle these relationships. And I think that's truly what Elizabeth and I have demonstrated. You know, we've been in each other's circles for 4 years now, Elizabeth?
It feels like forever. So let's just go with that.
Let's go with forever. But it's one of those relationships that keeps evolving as we evolve, as coaches, as leaders, as women, as mothers, all of these wonderful things. Today, I have my friend here, Elizabeth Watson, who is a coach to the six-figure female entrepreneurs who are starting to feel pretty burned out and ready to quit, which is honestly why she's my coach, because I was at that spot like 4 or 5 months ago. I kept calling her and crying. I'm like, I think I want to quit. She's like, can you please just let me coach you? And I was like, can you please coach me? Let's do this. And I'll give her a testimonial right now. Things have gotten so much better with working with her. And I think the beautiful part about working with her is they've been such small shifts that I knew intuitively that I needed to do, but I needed someone on the outside to tell me to do them. Because as much as I want to be a leader and a badass visionary, sometimes we just need someone to sit us down and say, okay, look, this is what you need to do in order to survive this phase of your business. So she helps us make more money, take real time off, and lead with clarity. She has over 25 years of studying and working on what actually works in her business and personal development. She's helped hundreds of entrepreneurs through strategic, high impact shifts, intuitive guidance, and partnership, so that they, like me, can scale my business without actually sacrificing what makes us happy. So welcome, Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you, Larissa. You know, anytime I get to spend with you is my absolute favorite time. And I'm so excited to have this conversation with everybody.
And you've been really stepping in and helping our authors lately as well, because mindset is a huge part of the author role. And not even just the author, but the people that Next Page works with, basically the same people as you, ambitious, go-getters, will work till they drop, lack of boundaries, all of these wonderful things that have really made us very good at our jobs, have really got us to the level of success that we're at. And now we're burning out. And entrepreneurs and authors alike, they go through this. And so we've had you come in and talk to our group coaching programs. I've had you talk to some of my one-on-one clients before, just to help them with that mindset side of things, of you can be ambitious and not burn out at the same time. So give us a little bit of background as to, first of all, how did you get into this? Because you've had an evolution of brand lately as well.
Oh my gosh. I love that you bring this up because it's all your fault.
You're welcome.
So, when we talk about the fact that my brand has evolved and that you and I have been connected forever, and we've had this beautiful synergistic, like circular relationship where I've been your client, you've been my client. We've written a book together. We're going to work on more books together. We're working on packages together. It's really incredible because this entire track for my business came out of you and I just hanging out as friends. We got to go on a retreat together in Sedona, Arizona, and we were not there for work. We were there to unplug from work. But you were at such a low point with what was going on for you. And for the track record here, folks, Larissa and I had talked about working together in the past because she knew she needed some mindset work, and it had just not been a good fit. There was a lack of confidence on my end because I'm not a business coach. And I felt like that's what she wanted. And this is the danger of getting in your own head. I kept going, oh, I'll find you somebody. I'll find you somebody. So you and I were sitting beside a pool having a conversation, and I'm watching my friend, this woman who inspires me, who lights me up with her passion, who is the just epic business owner, mom, wife, person, sobbing because this incredible creation that you have done, this mission that you're on, all of these fabulous successes that you've had was killing you. It was just heartbreaking as a person, let alone as your friend and a coach. And we were just having a conversation. And 30 minutes later, you looked at me and you said, "What the heck are you doing? What are you doing? You just gave me more than I've gotten in the last 6 months in a coaching container with one-to-one coaching. Why are you not doing this?" And that was the moment for me that it flipped, that I am not a business coach. I am a success coach. I'm a clarity catalyst. I'm someone who can take that moment when you're in the weeds and really get you back to focusing on the important things, the things that you keep telling yourself, "Oh, well, I'll take a break when I do this." Or, the business is just going to suffer if I take time off. Or I have to be there for my team because they don't know what they don't know all the components right now. And I just need to step up and be there for them. All the while, you're bottlenecking your business and you're killing yourself. And these are things I have an ability to do just as in the innate student I am of human nature, psychology, neuroscience, but also universal laws and metaphysics and intuition and bringing your permission to act and the answers that you find back internally. We get so conditioned to go external when we should be going internal. And I help you reframe that lens.
And you do it so beautifully. And I think that's one of the reasons I've had two incredible coaches in in the last 6 years I've been in business, yourself and Jana Nixa, who is a sales coach. And that you both have the brand of woo and do. And that combination at the level that I'm playing at, the level that my clients are playing at, it's no longer push, push, push. It's push, push, pull back, right? There's this cycle that goes into this level of growth that many entrepreneurs who are at the phase of writing a book are having to relearn that style of business. And one of the things I want to highlight with Elizabeth is we went on that retreat in Sedona and it was beautiful. And it was with one of my past clients, actually, Heather LaFond, who published her book over a year ago now. And, watching her thrive and her grow into that space was just beautiful. But that retreat, like you said, was really just to kind of connect back with the human side of us as business owners. It wasn't for business. It was for pleasure, lack of a better word. Um, and that was in February. And then back in June, I was at that spot again, right? I was crying and I was upset and I didn't like my business. And not that I didn't like my business, I actually love my business. I just didn't like how it was treating me. Essentially, I have a theme song that goes with my brand, and it's one where she doesn't like me very much. She treats me like garbage, kind of a thing, and that's how kind of the relationship I have had with this business. And I think that's been one of again, that push and that pull. During those push phases, by the time I get to the end of a push, I'm exhausted. And I think Elizabeth knows this, but as a coach, it's about riding the waves with your clients, right? It's not, I know there are lots of coaches that say, "I coach you so that you don't need me anymore." And I think at this higher level, that's just not realistic anymore because I need a partner. I need a friend. I need someone to talk to, and someone who's wiser and more insightful than me, which is what Elizabeth does. And so last month, February, crying, hated my business, wanted to quit. She got me back on track and it was awesome. And we were trucking along. And then in end of June, some things had broken down for me again. I'd lost some barriers. I was having a hard time keeping, face for my team and really leading from the spot that I wanted. And she sat me down and she said, "Girl, go take a week off." And I'll be totally honest, my business was struggling. Like sales calls had dried up, leads were dropping off, clients were getting angsty. It was just a weird time energetically. And Elizabeth said to go take a week off. Like, can it really get much worse at this point? Was kind of like the look she was giving me, like, you want to crawl under the bed and stay there. So let's just do that. And in that week that I took off at her guidance. We had 15 sales calls booked in. We signed a new client. Like the team just soared because I left. They were able to do their jobs without my influence and they nailed it. And that is what Elizabeth does. Like that's what I meant with those subtle shifts in what we're doing. And Elizabeth's like, wait, hold up. Why don't you do it this way or try this? And I just this wasn't meant to be a pump up for you, Elizabeth, but my God, it has been because you've just changed so much in my brand, honestly.
Well, it's been such an honor and a privilege to work with you. And the thing that you won't be able to articulate, but that I can tell everyone else is that you knew you needed the break. You told me you needed the break. You told me that normally you would have taken a break already, but you were pushing because of this and this and this and this. And they were all great reasons. But you knew intrinsically that you needed that time away. And I just gave you permission to do it. I gave you the push to make it happen. And that's the best thing that a coach can do for you is to help you listen to yourself because you know more than you think you do. And we get so into our heads that we get out of our bodies and we forget. We forget what we actually know and we forget to listen. And that's what a really amazing coach be able to do is to help you come back to listening. They shouldn't give you the answers. They should help you find the answers that are in you because then you know they're truly aligned.
And that's why you're a clarity catalyst coach, because the clarity does live within me. I didn't get to this level without knowing at least some of the answers, right? And neither do the authors that we work with. We don't get to a spot where we want to write a book because we're wishy-washy on our topic. We get there because we have so much in our heads that we're like, okay, I gotta get some of it out. I gotta put some of it on paper and claim ownership over my genius and my intellectual property and things like that. And so let's talk about the author world and mindset and being an entrepreneur. And in my new book, Author Your Way, I coined the term. I didn't coin it, but I use it a lot. So I'm like claiming it, authorpreneur, right? It's this new breed of author that really has not existed up until about 3 or 4 years ago. Like this is in its booming industry. But the challenge is how do we do it right? If it's new, we cannot use old patterns. We cannot rely on old systems to take us as far as this role can actually take us. And that's what Author Your Way is all about. But a huge piece of that is mindset. And in fact, that's also a huge part of what Author Your Way is about wrapping your head around being different. And we had you come into Author Allies, which is our group cohort program. We run 2 a year. They're 6 months long. And we had you come in at the almost the tail end. We have about a month left in the session, and we had you come in because we could see as coaches, as publishers, as CEOs, our authors were starting to slip. They had hit that midway point. They could see the finish line. And honestly, that finish line was not exciting. They were dreading it because that meant their support was going to end and they hadn't done what they had done. So talk about when you went into that room, talk about the vibe, first of all, when you got into the room, like how were people feeling versus like, and then how you walked them through what you did, because you did magic in there.
Thank you. It was such a privilege to get to speak to that group because honestly, they were the most incredible people. And I was so excited when you guys invited me to come and speak because that is the time, right? That is the time where your willpower has fatigued and the bright, shiny of the inspiration that started it has paled in comparison to all the things that have pushed it past. Like push it off your plate. I'll get to it later. Later never happens. It becomes this self-defeating cycle that continues. And you get to the end and you're like, oh my gosh, it's almost over. And I haven't done what I wanted to do or even close. And then you get on yourself even more. So the moment that people started coming into the room, it was heavy. I could feel it. It was exhausted. It was frustrated. It was demoralized. And there was this like almost held breath. Like, are you going to be the thing that helps me? Or are you just going to be telling me what I already know, what I'm already saying in my head? Because the people that come to Next Page Publishing, the people who work with Next Page Publishing are brilliant and inspired and on a mission. They are thought leaders, they're transformation leaders. They have amazing things to say. They're smart, but they're people and they're living real life in a real world. And that is so not conducive to the creative process, as we all know. And it was a big responsibility to be sitting there with all of those expectant faces, like, I'm tired. Are you going to fix it? And it was also so amazing for me. It was magical for me because I got to be the person who lit them back up. We started by re-inspiring them, reconnecting them with what the heck they started this whole thing for. We did an exercise that got them thinking about holding their book. When it was all said and done and all the work had been finished, they were holding their book. And what was that experience like? And we went from that. There were actually tears. There were several tears, and not from like, oh my God, it's never going to happen, but oh my God, I can see it so clearly. I remember. And that's again coming back into your body. I remember what this was. I remember why this started. I feel it now as well as know it. And then we talked about the things that get in the way. We talked about why that's happening. We talked about what tools we could use to start to shift it. Because the reality is, everybody talks about mindset until we're blue in the face because it is a part of everything we do. And there are three things that I know personally, I'm sure we could add to this list, that are the most intensive self development experiences you're ever going to go through: parenting, starting a business, and writing a book. Like, it's all a creation process. You are bringing something into this world that has never been before. You're giving life to something greater than yourself. And that is going to stretch you. It's going to test you. It's going to mold and change you, and not always in the most comfortable ways. And it's going to bring things up that maybe you've already thought you've dealt with, like imposter syndrome, right? We deal with that so often as entrepreneurs. And we got past it enough to start our businesses. We got past it enough to have a concept for a book and to actually take action on it, like listening to a podcast or reaching out to talk to somebody about writing it, or even putting some stuff on paper. And then that voice comes back, because each time we evolve and we expand and we grow in our own evolution, in our business evolution, in the book's evolution, we're facing a new aspect of that story, that habitual belief. And as we know, rewriting habits is hard.
Yeah, it is. It's so true. And we're going to take a really quick break. But when I come back, I want to talk about, again, that woo and that do. Like, you just hit it so beautifully in that side of things. And, you drop into your body that is woo, right? That is feel it out, envision a future, trust your gut, lean into your vibes. And then here's some tools. Here's how you're going to actually go do it. So we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how that lends to the creative process, both as a creator and an entrepreneur, right? Because we are business and creation blended together. So we'll be right back.
This season on I Wrote That, we're not just talking about books, we're giving them to you. My brand new book, Author Your Way, is finally here. And you can download it right now, completely free, at booksunlimited.app. That's booksunlimited.app. Inside, you'll learn how to write a business-boosting book that builds your authority, attracts aligned clients, and grows your income without getting lost in the publishing chaos. And here's the bonus. I've included a powerful resource kit to help you plan and start your book. Just follow the instructions inside the book to unlock it. And while you're there, check out a growing library of free reads: business books, memoirs, fiction, self-help, and more. No paywalls, no subscriptions, just powerful stories and big ideas, freely shared by bold authors. Visit booksunlimited.app and download your next chapter, starting with Author Your Way.
Okay, we are back with Clarity Catalyst coach Elizabeth Watson, who happens to be my personal coach, has been for the last 6 months since I bullied her into being my coach. And I'm so glad she did, because she has changed so much in her own life, in her own coaching practices, in my clients, and in my life. Actually, our COO the other day, we were having a meeting, her and I was having a rough day. I was kind of angry. And she's like, "Have you talked to your coach lately?" I'm like, "Have you talked to Elizabeth?" And I was like, "Yes, but I'll do it more targeted. I will actually tell her that I'm not doing great," right? And so the creative process as an entrepreneur is different than if you're writing a fiction book or if you're writing even a memoir or something, because it's serving a different purpose. There's a creator I follow on Facebook, I believe. This isn't her official name, but she's the dosing rod girl. And if you know who I'm talking about, you know, but she uses dosing rods to connect with her spirit team. And I love her. I love it. I could binge watch her all day. But she asked at one point, she had a little mini series on books. And I was just like, of course, I'm all in, right? And one of the questions she asked was, do books have souls? And the spirit team that she was connecting with, the angel, whoever she was talking with, was like, yes, wholeheartedly, yes, fast answer, hard answer, absolutely. And that's where the woo and the do come together in this capacity, in how Elizabeth supports my authors and myself and the business women that she supports, is when we are high achieving women who want a lot and expect a lot from ourselves and our brands and our products and our businesses, it can be really hard to balance intuition with strategy. And your book, a really well-written book, a high converting book, a book that fits into the center of your business and, kind of sprawls out and touches all areas of your client journey funnel, which I talk about a lot in Author Your Way. To do that, you have to balance storytelling, which is creation and art and soul, with what we call artful invitation, which is inviting them into the business, showing your genius, creating the foundation for growth in your readers so that they move from, okay, I'm just a reader, to, I think I want to be a client. Like, I want to work with this person. I want to buy their programs and enroll with them because I am all in. One of our clients actually had been listening to some podcasts and reading some of our work, and she said, I think I drunk the next page Kool-Aid. Like, I'm all in. And that's what you want your book to do, right? You want them to drink the Kool-Aid of your brand because your essence is imbued in the book, right? Now, Elizabeth, we talk about mindset. And again, it's one of those candy words at this point now. It's like throwing out at a parade. Beep, 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 and it's bouncing off the street and it's getting run over by the cars and the kids are doing dangerous things. But mindset in publishing is huge because, like you talked about, that messy middle portion of the manuscript is where dreams go to die in a lot of cases if you don't have support. So talk about, how does someone devolve from, oh my God, I can do this, amazing, I'm going to be awesome, this book's great, to, I think I should probably quit. I don't think this is for me. What happens in that phase? And I want to clarify, that phase can happen in a day. Like, I can go from a sales call that they're a hell yes to the next day they're just gone. And you're like, wait, where'd you go? What happened? Or they've signed and then they get to that 3-4 month mark and they're like, I think I want to pause. I don't want to do this anymore. So talk about that devolving pyramid.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to look and sound in your head different for every single person who goes through it, because we're all going to bring our own unique perspective, our own excuses, or, very valid reasons. But let's face it, they're excuses wrapped up in just enough truth to be like, oh, yeah, that's legit. And at the core of it, there's going to be some very unifying principles. You're intimidated. This is a creation process. It is intimidating as hell. There is a message inside you. There's a spirit, an energy, a movement, an impact that this inspiration is there to make. And that is a heady responsibility. That is a lot to take on. And that you will inevitably find yourself saying, well, who the hell am I to put that out there? Right? Who am I to share this with the world? And it's so easy. At this point, we are so trained into comparison. It's always been in human nature, but there's never been a time where we have been so faced with it on a daily basis. Seconds go by before we're tempted to check a social media or, to check in with status or something so that we can compare ourselves to other people. And we do it in a detrimental way. There's positive ways, but we do it in a very detrimental way. So we talk ourselves out of our own ability to share what we've been inspired to share because it's just so much. And then there's the fear factor at the core of everything. The reason we do not do 90% of the things that we want to do, that we're inspired to do, that we know we could do, that we're here to do. I mean, you could even feel it in your soul. This is my mission. This is my purpose, but it's scary. So I'm not going to do it. Right? We're working with these outdated software in our brains that tell us that anything new is lethal, right? Anything we can't be 100% sure we've experienced before is deadly. There's no way we can do it. And that served us great when heading out of the cave might mean we could have dinner or we could be dinner for the saber-toothed tiger. It does not work so well when you are trying to make an impact on the world, when you are trying to share this message that you have downloaded, when you are trying to get things that you have spent years developing into articulation so that it will help other people because you know that it could, you know that it should, and you want to, but you're afraid. You're afraid you're not going to say it right. You're afraid you're going to give up before you even started. And so why bother? Like, let's just cut to the end. If I'm going to put it off, I may as well just not start. There's so many reasons that the fear will give you to step back. But at the end of the day, it is the fear. And let's face it, writing is a very solitary practice. It is the number one issue that writers, authors, creatives face is you have to be very solitary to do it. And human beings are not solitary creatures. And I say that as an introvert and a home-centric fanatic. Like, I love my alone time, but I also need to be around people just as human nature. So this idea of putting yourself in a very isolated, very solitary, long-term situation can be at war with a basic human need. And so your brain starts to short circuit and give you all sorts of reasons why you shouldn't do this.
Yeah, there's fear, right? And that fear, oh, you're just pulling quotes out of my book now, aren't you? Because that fear, it manifests in different ways. It looks different. And so, like when you talked about earlier, the excuses, which are just, wrappings on the reality of what we're facing, which is fear. I don't have time. I don't have the skill. This probably won't work for me. I've got other things I need to do. The reality is writing a book takes sacrifice. And to make that sacrifice worth it, you have to know without a doubt that you're on the right path and that it's going to work. And that is a huge part of what Next Page has been working with entrepreneurs on, is helping them guarantee success. But success with an asterisk looks like the way you want it to look. What is success for you? For me, success personally, like I wrote Author Your Way because I want to work less. I want to work half the time and get 10 times the results. I write about that in the book too, right? Like I don't do anything if I can't use it 3 ways. And that's how entrepreneurs need to be looking at their books. It's not just a book. It's not just a business card. It's an asset. It's an asset that you need to be able to use in a minimum of 3 places in your book. You need to be able to look at your client journey or your funnel or whatever terminology you're using in your business and say, all right, where does this book fit? How am I going to use it? And I can tell you, I'm working on the marketing plan for Author Your Way right now, and it's massive. And when I say marketing plan, it's not social media, right? That's actually one of the lowest tiers on our marketing plan, but it's how do we create a workbook? How do we create a Coles Note version? Are we doing an audiobook? The answer is yes, we are. How are we using our affiliates? How are we going to leverage past clients? How are we using it in our sales calls process, right? There are so many ways to integrate your book. But again, because authorpreneur is a new type, a new breed of author, no one's asking these questions yet. They're just saying, okay, what's your visibility plan for your book, right? And it's not about visibility, it's about integration. Coming back to Elizabeth's point, earlier in the episode, I was talking about the cycles, right? Of like January, February, wanted to quit. Elizabeth got me back on track. I was good until about June, wanted to quit. The thing is not avoiding those. The thing is predicting them and having a plan when it happens. And so my plan is I have Elizabeth in my back pocket and I pull her out and I say, come here, Elizabeth. And I put her on my desk and say, pump me back up, get you right back on track. But when it comes to your book process, don't fight it, predict it. Know that it's coming. Know that you're going to struggle and you're going to have mindset issues and you're going to doubt yourself and you're going to hate your book. I can guarantee you there's going to come a spot where you hate it. so much. And then your coach is going to come in and go, okay, but maybe that's just your perspective. Maybe it's actually good, right? And that's where coaching comes in. And that's why Elizabeth and I have been working on tandem offers together to, I'm not a mindset coach. I'm not. I'm good at it. I could be. I can give you like a quick one-liner, but at the end of the day, I'm a book coach. I'm a publisher. I'm a business strategist when it comes to being an author. I have to have someone in my corner for my clients like Elizabeth. And so we're working on tandem offers of how do we get that? Because I'm going to predict it for you. You're going to have a downfall. You're going to have hardship, and that's okay, right? Like, we don't fight that.
Yeah. And I like that you brought up the cyclical nature of it because this is one of the big things that I do work with clients. And one of the places you and I started is understanding those cycles. There's energetic cycles, there's creative cycles, there are cycles to everything. I mean, we live in a world with seasons. We live on a round planet. Why are we resisting the cyclical nature of everything? And there's going to be moments where you're super inspired, and there's going to be moments where you could not even look at the page. Like the thought of sitting down in front of your computer or your paper makes you want to throw up. And that's just the reality. So, like you're saying, if you predict it, if you know that it's coming, then you will not sit there and be like, oh my God, I loved it so much and now I hate it. I must be on the wrong path. I need to quit. I need to just stop. Clearly, this wasn't meant to happen, right? And that's not the case. It's just that you're in a cycle. And sometimes it's about reframing all of that chatter that's happening in your head because it's fear-based. And sometimes it's legitimately your system telling you, no, you need to pause. Now is not the time to work on this. And that's where having a support structure makes all the difference in the world, is to get super clear on that. Because there is a very small, there's, like you were saying, small shift between the thing that makes you want to stop being the thing that pushes you forward.
And there's data in those pauses. Huge amount of data. Like when I took my last week off, when you told me, get the hell out of here, kind of a thing, I had massive clarity come through it because I was taking a break. It took 4 or 5 days before my system was regulated enough to actually open up a channel and be able to funnel what I was meant to funnel, right? Like, I'm on this earth to do this. I know that. But I needed a break. And so like I was just doing the math while you're counting. I was like, okay, I have 4 months. I have 4 months between my cycles of like, I want to quit and like, I'm ready to do this. Let's go. So I'll see you again in November when I need my next tune up. But predicting those cycles will save you as an entrepreneur, as an author, and knowing leaning into when your body is saying we need to pause. I have one client who she has a weekly cycle. She's very fast. She cycles fast. But I'll meet with her on Monday and she'll be like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. It's getting hard, right? And I love her to bits and pieces. Her book is going to be incredible. But it's been like pulling fragments out every week, right? And then we'll retune her. At the end of the call, she'll be like, I got it. I'm good to go. She'll write her chapter. She'll take the weekend off and then she'll come back. Oh, I don't know. And we go through it all over again, right? But in those refinements, in those moments where you're with your coach, they unlock something, whether it's actually in that moment or, they just open the door for you to get it later, to download it later. They are able to see things and pull things out that you can't. And that's the true power of a coach. Like you said in the beginning, you're a clarity catalyst coach because it lives within us. You're just there to spark it, bring it back. So, all right, Elizabeth, we got to wrap up because we are over time, which I knew we would be. So tell us, how can we reach you? Because I guarantee there are going to be people that want to connect with you.
Well, I would love to talk more about this, obviously. So if this has resonated with you, if you're excited, if you want to know more, if you want to know some of the tools that I gave to Larissa's people, I might just leak a few. And I would love to do it for you. So you can find me on the socials of Facebook and Instagram at The Surreal Dawn is my business name. And you can also find me on my website, www.surrealdawn.com. And you can just start a conversation with me. You can find all of my links through the show notes as well. And I have all sorts of resources I want to throw at you because I know how hard this is and it shouldn't be. And I want you to reclaim your power to shape your tomorrow. And one of the best ways you can do that is to write your story, write that book, because there are people who need it. It is not about you necessarily. It's about the people that need it. And by doing it, it's a win-win-win. You bring this thing into the world, you honor that divine inspiration, you help people in the world, and your business grows at the same time. And that is a beautiful, amazing thing. So stop waiting. Talk to Larissa today.
Yeah, and if you want to, like I said, we're putting offers together for the two of us. So if you feel this is a collaboration you want to be a part of, definitely reach out to us. We're going to put all of the links down in the show note to Elizabeth so you can reach out to her. And then my last favorite question, Elizabeth, is what advice do you have for aspiring authors?
Just start. You have a million reasons not to, and there's only one reason to, because if you don't start now, when will you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in to I Wrote That. Don't forget to download your free copy of Author Your Way to kickstart your journey as an entrepreneur. You'll find the link in today's show notes. And if you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love for you to leave us a review. It helps more listeners like you discover the show. Until next time, happy writing.